back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It's Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. as we record. Uh, Lee, we didn't have a post game show like we normally do, given the late night game. Then we did not come back either on Monday, so I figured I'd let you have the floor to begin with if you want to talk anything about that game. Any anything you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, I got a few things to say. First and
Uh-huh.
foremost, this team sucks. I mean, that's just what it
Oh
is.
no.
This team sucks. I mean, I they did nothing in this game, and they put up slot points at the end of the game. Put up a touchdown at the end. They did nothing. I mean, the first quarter it was more of like seemed like defense kind of going back and forth with things. Um, but then nothing just got moving. The offense couldn't do anything. The defense kind of did something at first, but then could not do anything afterwards. Um, I'm at a point now where I think Mike Tomlin just needs to be fired or traded. I'm getting to that point now because we're not seeing any productivity with this team. Um, they needed to win this game. I mean, I know we both talked about it and we had a feeling that they were going to lose, but they could have put up a better fight and they did nothing in this game at all. There was just no movement going on. Aaron Rodgers is the worst game I've seen him play in this season, maybe even in his career. I mean, I get it. He's old. He's getting up there in age and things like that. But
He had
this
a
this
bad
was
year with the
just
Jets, right?
this is just god awful. This is just god awful. I mean, I think this was worse than the Jets game. When he played for the Jets. I mean, I mean,
Uh-huh.
this is just god awful. I've never seen anything like it before. I mean, this team has so many problems and so many issues that you know it's never going to get fixed. And then they go and we'll talk about it, but they signed Asante Samuel Jr. free agent. With another injury with Darius Slay going down, and of course they're going to pay him money, and of course again they're going to add more money to the defense and still not be able to do shit. This team sucks. That's all I got to say, and they need to figure it out quick because the end is near for a lot of people, I think, on this team.
Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he ended up 16 to 31 for 161, one touchdown late, like you were saying, and then two interceptions, three sacks. Yeah, he did not look good. He even admitted it after the game that he had missed some throws and everything like that. One bright spot, and it's not even a bright spot once you think about things and how frustrating it is. Jalen Warren had only 14 carries, but he had 70 yards. That's 5 yards a carry there. He did not get any snaps on third down during a stretch of 0 for 9 for the Steelers on third down. Your best offensive weapon, not on the
Not
field,
on
and the most
not on the
important
field.
down.
Yep.
It really it goes to the scheme. It goes to the game plan going into the game. I get it. He's got to have some reps off. Tomlin talked about that during the press conference this week, but that doesn't mean it's got to be on third down for 9 straight third downs. And
Yeah.
we didn't get much production from the other running backs. Kenneth Gainwell had 2 catches for 4 yards. Caleb Johnson had 2 carries for 3 yards. So it's not like they brought some guys in and they're doing anything for them. It was a very, very poor showing on third down. I know you didn't get a chance to look through everything, but I got it right now. There were 2 of 11 on third
Ugh.
downs this week.
Ugh. Ugh.
That's just embarrassing. They only had 50 total plays. You just can't win if you're not sustaining drives.
No.
And the defense didn't have an awful game, but it just wasn't good enough either. Um, it was just a weird scoring game too. I forgot all about the safety. That play by Rodgers there. Just you got to get rid of the ball there. That's the second quarter just was very awful for the offense. They had the missed field goal to start the second quarter, which is very uncharacteristic of Boswell, obviously. And then from that point on, punt, interception, end of the half, 3 plays, 2 plays, 3 plays. It just was not a good performance by the offense. And if you play like that, the defense really, even if they were going to have a good game, you're not going to win this against the Chargers. It was 12-3 at halftime. And then just slowly but surely the Chargers were able to score a little bit more in the second half to make it. At one point, it was 25-3, like you said, and it ended up with a 25-10 victory for the Chargers. today I was hoping we can get into some midseason grades. Last week we gave out our MVPs and other awards, and really look back at the schedule. I do like the idea of last week coming off a win. It was very positive between the two of us. Now we're doing our midseason grades.
Yeah.
1 week later, and I feel like this is going to be a lot different for the team here, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, it's up and down. It's a roller coaster with this damn team. It really is.
This season has been a mess. I don't know. You can grade however the hell you want. I'm gonna try to grade without a curve. So I'm not gonna give anyone like the benefit of, oh, you're supposed to be good. Or sorry, you weren't supposed to be good. So since you were all right, I'm gonna give you a higher grade. Or like someone like TJ Watt, who at sometimes this year maybe he didn't have as much impact as he normally would have. I'm not gonna hurt him more for being TJ Watt.
Yeah.
Grade him on that scale of being TJ Watt. I'm giving everyone. I'm going to try to do that. I don't know how it'll work out, but we'll see how I can do it if I'm good enough at being unbiased with my predictions here. But I guess we'll start with Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, he's coming off the quarterback room in general.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this by different positions, but it's been Aaron Rodgers. He's played in all 9 games. He's Mason Rudolph has 2 pass attempts all year. He's the only other quarterback that's played any games. He played in 2 different games. He's 2 for 2 for 12 yards, if you want to put that into account. But Aaron Rodgers, he is at 66.8% percentage. He has 1,853 yards. He's averaging, so that's 205.9 per game. And I think he has 18 touchdowns on the season, if I'm remembering right. It's not on this list here. But what's your grade for Aaron Rodgers so far this year?
I think C+ right now. I think I'm gonna go with a C+. There's a lot of plays he's made this season where he should have maybe gotten rid of the ball and hasn't. I mean, I get that he's older and it's harder for him to maneuver and things like that. Some of the interceptions he's thrown hasn't been his fault because they've been tipped and things like that. But he's still, supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks there is, right now. Again, age is a factor and things like that. He's coming off an ACL injury 2 years ago, but I still think that, there's some things he could be improving with throwing. I get that he's not getting enough time by the offensive line, which has been a factor and things like that. But I'm just going to have to give him a C+. I think there's a little bit more room for improvement. I don't think that he was ever going to be maybe an A grade for the entire season. But I think there is some room for improvement and be able to make some better decision making. You can tell he's getting frustrated and stressed out there with certain things, and I understand that. But I think that just the passing, he could be having more yards thrown, and it's just not going the right way. I think, again, the offensive playbook does come into play with a lot of stuff, but he's a veteran quarterback. He should be able to make some better decisions when it comes to the offense.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a B-. I think last week we talked about it. We both had him as our offensive MVP, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not gonna. This last week was awful, and I think that really is affecting you right now. I'm gonna give him. So I'm gonna give him a B-. He is he has 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. His 18 touchdowns is tied for 5th best in the league. His yardage is 1853 is 19th. QBR does not like him so far. He's at a 44.9 out of 100, and that's 25th best in the league. So your grade is fair in my eyes for sure. But given what I'm going to give grades to some other positions, I think I'm going to give him a B- here. And we've talked about it before. I think he's been, prior to this last game, he's been as good as they could have asked for. But that doesn't mean he deserves like an A or anything in my eyes. Maybe before last week I would have gave him a more solid B or a B+. But that last game, and what that game like shines a light on for other things, it's just I think you have to take everything into account and give him a B- here. So I feel good about that grade there. But I think you're perfectly fine with your grade too. Next up, we'll go with the running back position. Jaylen Warren on the season, he has played in 8 games. He has 474 yards rushing to lead the team. Gainwell's at 52 carries for 220. Both Warren and Gainwell are both averaging 4.2 yards per carry. Touchdown wise, you got 2 for Warren, 3 for Gainwell. Caleb Johnson coming into the season, you were hoping that he was going to be a good draft pick for them, but instead you got 17 carries for 43 yards. He had some issues fumbling the ball on kick returns and other issues on kick returns that kind of put him on the back burner. Receiving wise, Warren, he's got 23 catches for 214. So in total, he's got close to 700 yards. Gainwell, he's adding another 29 catches, but for only 123 yards. Those are the 2 main guys there. Warren does have 1 more touchdown on 1 more receiving touchdown. So for the 2 of those guys in total have 6 touchdowns and about what is that? Yeah, about 1,000 yards total halfway through the year. It's not perfect, and especially if you look at the rankings of the rushing attack, it's sitting at that they have a total of 771 yards rushing, and that is ranked 30th in the NFL right now. I really like Warren. I really think he's been good, and maybe you can't even blame the running back room. Maybe it's the other aspects of the team. Maybe it's the lack of passing. Maybe it's the lack of an offensive line. But overall, if you're ranked 30th, you can't give a high grade here. I'm gonna go with the C. With the caveat of I don't blame them specifically, but you still have to put the production on the field. You're ranked 30th. You can't get a high grade. You can't get a B here for me. And like I said, I really do like Warren. I think Gainwell hasn't been bad for them either. But I still have to give them a C here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was going to give them a C as well. I think that they looked at Jaylen Warren as being the guy as they moved on with Najee. And I get that he had a little bit of injury coming into the season, preseason, things like that. He didn't really get much starting. He had a couple injuries here and there throughout the season so far, and we've seen Kenneth Gainwell and some other things with the aspects of how they decided to play with that running back room and offensive plays and schemes and things like that. But I think they looked at Warren as supposed to be the guy moving forward right now as our starter for the running back crew. And, I get that the offensive line is terrible, but being 30th in the league in rushing and not being able to put up any yards on the ground as much I think it's just very underproductive as well as a team in general, especially for that running back core. I think that there is a lot of improvement that needs to be made with the running back team. Caleb Johnson coming in, he was, had some high hopes for him. There were talks about Mike Tomlin, about him in practice and things like that, how productive he looked and how things, may progress with him with this offense coming into the season. Of course, he had that crazy error in that Seahawks game with the missed kickoff return. And so, of course, there's been a lot of issues and things like that going forward. But again, being 30th in the league in rushing, I can't see them going anything higher than a C right now. There has been some issues with the offense and things like that. But again, I think that Jaylen Warren was the guy moving forward, and he hasn't really given the numbers that he should be at right now with this midseason.
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement there. Next, we got receivers. You have DK Metcalf at 32 catches on 54 targets. That's a total of 502 yards. He's played in all 9 games, so he's only averaging 55.8 yards per game. Next up, you got Calvin Austin, who's got 21 catches in 7 games. That's 237 yards, and that's 33.9 yards per game. And then you're looking at Roman Wilson next on this list with 11 catches, 149 yards. Ben Skoranek, 2 catches for 35 yards, and then that's it. You got Scotty Miller, 1 catch for 9 yards. Spencer Anderson has as many catches as Scotty Miller. So and one less catch than Ben Skowronek. It's been a mess. And you can't blame DK Metcalf because he's going to be doubled and covered and everything like that. But he's supposed to be your number one, and those numbers don't match up with that. 5 touchdowns isn't too bad. If you had double these up, and you're looking at 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. I mean, sure, but that's not what he's getting paid for. He's getting paid to be an elite guy, and those are not elite numbers. I'm giving them a D, maybe D plus. I'll go D plus to be nice. It's just not that. It's not it. You can't win with consistently with a receiving core like that. That's why I'm giving Roethlisberger some leeway with that B I gave him, or B minus. It's just this room stinks.
Yeah, you mean Rodgers, not Roethlisberger. You mean Rodgers.
Yeah. Who did I say? Rivers?
No, Roethlisberger.
Oh God. Yeah, Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm giving them a D minus. I think this wide receiver room is terrible. Of course, you have DK, who's supposed to be the number one. He's getting paid big money. He's still young enough to be able to do things, and of course, we've seen some flash plays and things by him this season for sure. But you're supposed to be the number one guy on this team. You're supposed to be the main target, and I get that you're doubled and things like that, and Rodgers isn't getting enough time to throw, but you're supposed to be out there trying to make plays to be able to get the ball. Calvin Austin, he's not a number two. He's just our number two at this team right now, you know, and it just, we had seen some flash plays by him in the past with how speedy of a receiver he's supposed to be, but we haven't really seen that much of him being fast enough to be able to do anything. They talked about him in the past being maybe a quick guy like I forget what was his name, Mike. I can't remember the guy's last name now. He played for the Steelers, number 17. But anyway,
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace, yeah, being fast like that, and so, but we haven't even seen anything like that with him. And I'm such a fool and a sucker for picking Roman Wilson as my offensive MVP for this season.
I mean, he has been flashing lately. He's been flashing a little bit lately.
And some slop touchdowns at the end of the game.
But still, I'm going to give you a little bit of leeway because I do think there's something there. I think he'll end up being the number 2 receiver. I think he'll overtake Calvin Austin at some point. I just don't think Calvin Austin is just not that great of a receiver. It's just that the way it is.
Yeah.
They did just pick up MVS, Valdez-Scantling. I'm sure he's going to get into the room, but he's not going to be a difference maker. This is a bad room. With all the wheeling and dealing that Omar Khan does, it's just you can't have this room the way it is, especially with the cap space they had coming into the year. They had to make a move. Anyone that thinks that they shouldn't have made a move, I've heard the excuse of, this was never going to be the season anyway. Then why they spend all that money on the defense?
Yeah, exactly.
Why they pick up those old guys on the defense? Why pay Hayward on the defense if you think this team's not ready to compete? I mean, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Yeah, at that point. And so there needs to be some type of better off-season moves and production by the organization. Some of these people, they need to figure some things out. You don't spend the money, like you just said, on a defense like that if you didn't think that this was going to be some type of year. They're talking all this stuff, but we'll get to the defense later. But yeah, I'm going to give them a D minus. I just think that this receiving core is terrible.
So next up, we got the tight end spot. Freiermuth is leading the way with 22 catches for 260 and 3 touchdowns. Jonnu Smith has 26 catches for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. Darnell Washington has 14 catches for 142 yards and a touchdown. And then Hayward has 2 catches for 18 yards and a touchdown. If you combine all those numbers, I mean, that's not awful. You got 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. So they got 7 touchdowns as a unit. And they're looking at probably, I think, over 600 yards. So, little under 600 yards, I think. So, I mean, as a group, I'll let you give the grade out first on them. What are your thoughts on the tight end group? Those are the numbers
I was
for
I was
you.
gonna go with a D plus. I think it's a little bit of an improvement than the wide receiver core, to be honest. I mean, again, they're a lot of the times they are blocking and things like that, and on the line. But I think that this is a decent tight end room. I don't know I don't know of a lot of teams that use 4 tight ends like we use. And of course, it's all different styles of play for all of them. But I'm going to give them a D plus. It's not great by any chance, but I think there has been some little splash plays and things like that with this team. I think they need to use Darnell Washington's big body a lot more. I mean, he's 6'8", 300 pounds. I mean, you got to use that guy, a lot more offensively to make plays. Freiermuth, he's our tight end. People love him, things like that. But we haven't seen much of him that much. Jonnu Smith came in. He had an injury. He hasn't really done anything really. We don't really see much of Hayward. And so I just think that there needs to be a little bit more improvement with this tight end team. But I'm going to give them just a little bit higher than the wide receiver core. But it's still, I think, just a D plus for this tight end core.
I'm going to go C plus. I just was down and up and everything. I mean, 60 catches, over 550 yards, 7 touchdowns from the group. I think that C plus is fair. I do think that if they had a better receiving core, these numbers wouldn't be as high. You wouldn't be using these guys as much. But they are putting something on there. There is some unique styles and different things from them. It obviously isn't living up to the hype of like what could be with those guys. But I think you're right. Washington could see more time, but I still think they're using him well enough now. Right now, I mean, 21 targets isn't crazy. 9 games, obviously, but he's still going to work on some things, I think, himself. But overall, I'm not going to crap on them too much. So I'll go C plus with the tight end group. Next up would be the offensive line. Let me see what I can find statistically for them. I know we already mentioned the run game being 30th in the league. Let's see where they are with sacks real quick.
Oh, this got to be 33rd. I know there's only 32 teams, but this got to be worse than 32nd in the league.
Let's see if I can find it real fast. It is not on this page here. But yeah, you go on the offensive line real fast. I'll try to find the number for us.
If there's an F minus, I'd give them that. I mean, this is god awful. I mean, this may be the past couple of years has been the worst offensive line. This actually might be the worst offensive line I've seen with this team. I mean, this is god awful. I mean, you got a 41-year-old guy back there. He's getting fucking killed. He's getting sacked multiple times a game. They can't block at all for him. He gets no time to throw the ball. They can't block for the running back. Because that's why our running game is 30th in the league. Can't run the ball. Aaron Rodgers gets no time to pass the ball. He's running for his life back there. And I get that there's been injuries and things like that, but this is god awful. I mean, we're so used to the blue collar style of this team running the ball down teams' throats in the past. And I get that the game has changed and things like that, and stuff happens. But this team is not the Steelers when it comes to running the ball anymore. And we've had some different quarterbacks come in and out since Ben Roethlisberger has left. But nobody's getting any time to stand in the pocket to be able to throw the ball and make plays and things like that. I mean, this is just god awful. I guess F is the lowest you can go, but I want to give them an F minus. I mean, this is just god awful.
So I did look it up. They've given up 18 sacks, which is not as bad as we would have expected. That's in the lower half. It's in the 20s ranking wise in sacks allowed. But Rodgers has been getting the ball out so quick. He's at the top of the leaderboard there and getting the ball out of his hands. So I think that plays a huge role in the fact that they have not given up as many sacks. I'm right there with you with this offensive line. And like I said, I'm not going to try to grade on a curve. I'm not going to go F. I do think there's some pieces there that have been solid. And when the things are going well, it does go well. We're coming off a really bad game, obviously, and that does create the frustrations for it. But I do think that a D A solid D is a fair grading for the offensive line. That's where I'm going.
You
Pushing
think they're
back?
about the?
You pushing back again?
Oh, you think they're about as good as the wide receiver core? Oh, I think they're worse.
Neither one is good. We're talking. I
I
mean,
know.
if you take a D home to your mother, she's not going to be happy with you.
Oh, of course not. But yeah, okay. Well, good. I mean, hey, I
You think that?
appreciate you.
Wait, hold on a second. You think that the receiving core is that much? You have them at a D minus compared to an F, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't have put them in the same grade. I wouldn't have put them in a D. I'd put them lower.
I think I gave them a D plus as
You
a
did. You
receiver.
gave the
Didn't
wide
I?
receiver D plus, and then you gave
So,
them.
so it's a better grade.
I think it's worse. I think they're worse, but I think they're a letter worse.
I don't know. I mean, there's some guys on that offensive line that I'm happy with. I'm fine with a lot of some of those guys. I think Broderick Jones has taken steps forward. He's not perfect, obviously. I like Sam Ollie. He's coming back soon. I like the way they use Spencer Anderson as a sixth lineman. There's things there. There's things there. Obviously, 30th in rushing is not good.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Rodgers has not had much time to pass the ball, but I'm not gonna. I'm giving him a D. I'm not giving.
All right.
I'm not throwing
All
a fucking.
right.
I'm not throwing a B out here for them.
All right. All right. All right.
Yeah. So let's go kicking before we switch over to the defense. Instead of having kicking last. Chris Boswell is 7. He has 17 field goals. Why can't that just have it right there for me? He is. He is 17 of 20. Prior to last week, both of his misses could be excused. First one he slips. The second one he had blocked. But last week was just a normal miss. His long on the season is 60 yards. He is 8 of 9 from 40 to 49 and 7 of 8 from 50 plus. I can't complain about that. I still am going to give him a strong grade. Waitman, punting wise, he's got a net of 42.4, which seems good to me. I don't have the comparison to other guys, but he's had 12 inside the 20 and only 2 touchbacks. So I think that's pretty good ratio there. So for me, I'm going to give them a solid B plus for the kicking game.
I'm going to give him an A. I think that this is the only part of the team that's even doing anything. Of course, Boswell's had a couple misses this season. He's usually automatic. He had that one miss this last game against the Chargers, but I still think he's the only one putting up points for this team. He's the only one at least putting us on the scoreboard for majority of games and things like that. I think he's the best kicker in the league still right now, even with a couple misses. I think our punting core is doing the best that they can do. I mean, they're out there so goddamn much because the offense can't move down the field, and they're doing what they can do, on the punting side, So I got to give them a solid A. I think this is the best core on the team right now. I have no really too many excuses or anything to really give to this team or anything really negative really to say. I think this is just they're doing the best they can do, and they're doing the job that they're getting paid to do.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I know I only give them B plus, but yeah, this has definitely been the unit that has played the best, which is sad when we're talking about our kickers. Want to go to return game real quick? Lot of errors between a couple of the guys there. Overall, I mean, D minus. I don't know.
Yeah.
No touchdowns, no real big splash. Because the longest return for them is 37 yards on the kickoffs. Punt return wise, you're looking at the long of 17, a long of 12 for Austin, a long for 17 for Williams. I'm not impressed at all by them. So yeah, D minus is where I'm going with them. If you want to give them some talk real quick, don't stress yourself by going into detail.
No, I'm in agreement with you. I think D minus. I have nothing to say. There's nothing going on with that core. So just D minus is what it is.
So let's shift over to the offense.
Defense.
So we can start on the interior. Let's go to the defense. We can start on the interior with the interior defensive linemen. Trying to shift over here real quick to tackles for loss. The defensive lineman interior guys. Keanu Benton leads with 5 tackles for loss. Hayward has 3 tackles for loss. Harmon, who I have liked, only has one tackle for loss so far. The first round pick this year. That's really it for looking at that for those guys. Pass deflections might have some more things for us. Yeah, Hayward has 6 pass deflections. That's the only one that's really jumping out for me there. Harmon has 1 himself. So yeah, that's the 6 statistics there. Let's see what the running game numbers are real quick too. Rushing wise, they are 14th, so about middle of the pack. Rushing wise, I think you can plot the interior line obviously plays a big role there. So what's your grade on the interior defensive line so far?
I'm going to go with a C. I think that it's average, just like where they're ranked right now. Real quick, does this show how many sacks that core has or anything?
You can add them up if you want to keep talking real quick. I'll get the number for you.
So I'm going to give them a C. I think it's average where they're sitting at the middle of the pack with the league right now, and I think they're doing a pretty decent job. I was hard on Cam Hayward at the beginning of the year because of his comments and things like that, but he's definitely improved. I think he's been playing very well this season. He's definitely made some plays with deflecting the ball. I think a couple of them got intercepted, and so I think he's doing well. I think the interior line is doing pretty decent because I don't think we're seeing too many runs up the middle. I mean, a lot of the runs are on the outside and things like that. But I think they're doing a very decent job, and I'm just going to give them a C because I think they're playing as well as they can right now.
So I got 8 sacks for them, 4.5 for Benton, 2 for Harmon, and 1.5 for Hayward. Does that sway you at all? Just to give you a full picture,
you're still sticking with a C. I mean, there could probably be a little bit more, but I'm just going to stick there. I think a C is perfect for this core right now.
I'm going to go with a C plus. Obviously, the run game number 14th in the league is average, and I think they've done things here that are solid. Whenever I'm looking at the team, I'm not like, okay, these guys stink. These guys they're costing us games. So I'll go C plus for them. I do think Derek Harmon's a good pick. He's only played in 7 games so far, and he's been trying to get his way into the rotation and everything. I've always liked Benton, and then like you're talking about Cam Hayward. He's been very good this season for the team. Didn't mention tackles. Hayward has 36 tackles, Harmon 17, Benton 26. But yeah, I think C plus is fair. I think C is fair, but I'm going to go with a C plus.
Yeah.
So then we got outside linemen, pass rush, whatever you want to call them. We got TJ Watt with 6 sacks and 7 tackles for loss. Nick Herbig at 5.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. Alex Highsmith, 5.5 sacks for 6 tackles for loss. Highsmith's played in 7 games, Herbig's played in 8, and Watt's played in 9. So those are the 3 main contributors there on the outside. Like I said, I'm not going to punish Watt for being Watt. So I'm going to give them a B minus. It hasn't been as good as we'd like it, but you're still looking at halfway through the season. You have 17 sacks between them and 21 tackles for loss. That's not bad. So B minus is where I'm going to go with those guys.
I'm going to give them a C plus. I think that I'm going to go off of just by their name. I mean, to be honest, I mean these guys are still young enough to be able to make big plays and things like that. And I don't think that they've been the edge rushers we've seen them much. Now, Herbig has definitely come in and been able to make a lot of plays, and I think you had him as a guy who was you talked about earlier in the season as somebody going to be a big time guy on this defense, and we've seen him make a lot of plays and things like that. And I just think that they're
in limited snaps too. He hasn't been out there. He's been limited in snaps too.
Yeah, and so I think they need to use him more. And I think that he's definitely a guy that's going to be improving and getting a lot better as the years go on for him. I just think that these guys should have way more. I think they should each have at least 10 sacks apiece. I think they should. I think they should have 20 tackles for loss.
Right now.
Yes, I think they all. They should. Yes, TJ Watt.
So
TJ Watt's getting
I don't
paid
know. That's
a
tough.
fuck ton of money to be doing all this. Of course, he's
if you said I want TJ to have 10, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But for the other two guys too to have 10, I mean, what's the sack record on the season? You got all three of these guys being on pace to hitting 20 sacks for a season. That's wrong. Come on, dude.
I think Alex Highsmith. I'll say this, not Herbig, but I'll say Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt should at least have 10 sacks apiece. I think right now in the season, I think they should each have 10. I think just those two at least.
That's tough.
I don't think anybody else on the defense.
Remember, Highsmith's only got 7 games so far too.
Okay, I'll give him 7. He should have 7.
Okay, he won a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and he has 5.5. Yeah, he's at 5.5 though.
He should have 7. 7 games. He should have 7.
All right. Okay. So you said C+. I had them at a B minus, or I had them. What I have them? B minus. Right?
You had a B minus. Yeah, B minus. Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we got the interior, the middle linebackers. Patrick Wilson. He has the team lead in tackles at 78. He had 1 sack on top of that, 2 pass breakups, 1 interception. Patrick Queen is at 68 tackles, 1 sack. 5 tackles for loss for Wilson and Queen, just to put that out there. 4 pass breakups, no interceptions. Really, next guy on the list here we have in the middle is Jack Sawyer with 16 tackles. And what do we got? I think he has 1 sack. Yeah, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups, and an interception. Those are the 3 main guys that have been playing in the middle there. I've been very disappointed. I think Patrick Queen's my biggest disappointment for the defense, given the age and given the responsibility that he has there. I have been disappointed with him, especially lately. Just it doesn't feel like he's playing that well. I'm gonna give them a C as a unit. Wilson's flashed some good stuff, but I still don't think he's been perfect. He's got a lot of flaws to his game still too. Even though, I mean, we're nitpicking a little bit there with him. Sawyer, young guy, later round pick. I think he's been solid for what he's supposed to be doing for them. So yeah, overall, I'll give him a C in the middle linebacker.
Yeah, I think it's a C minus. We haven't seen much of the linebacker crew at all. I mean, these guys, they're not flashy at all. And even like, I think it was 2 weeks ago when we were going over some of that game with that Packers. And, Harrison even said it, you see some of these guys, the linebacker core just isn't good for this team at all. Like, it's been very disappointing. They have given up a lot of plays over the middle of the field with passing and things like that. They haven't made any big plays with like a lot of sacks or interceptions and things like that. I just think that this linebacker core is terrible. I mean, they're not god awful like the offensive line, but they're just terrible. They're just not good at all. And I think that for what they're getting paid, especially for Queen, especially supposed to be the green dot, the main guy on the defense, with communication, things like that. I think it's just been terrible, So I think this I'm going to give them a C minus. I think they need to improve. They need to figure some things out, watch some more film, and watch how they're, playing the middle of that field with the ball being passed, because that's where we've seen a lot of the passes by the quarterbacks being thrown over the middle of the field, and the team's just getting torched, and there's nobody there. So C minus for this linebacker core.
That's fine with me too. Finally, we'll do the secondary together because there's been so much overlap on everything. They are currently, according to Pro Football Reference at least, they're currently last place in pass yards allowed at 24-25, which is very obviously that's awful. They have 8 interceptions in total. Well, that includes the entire team has 8 interceptions, with Joey Porter, Deshaun Elliott, Jalen Ramsey, and Brandon Eccles each having 1 interception. We do not have a single person with multiple interceptions currently in the anywhere on the team. So we have 8 guys with 1 interception. No touchdowns. I don't think either. It's not been flashy for them at all. It's been a frustrating season outside of Jalen Ramsey. I think Ramsey's the only guy where you can say, okay, this guy's really playing well. Um, there was talk about historic defense, and I think a lot of that played into having the guys back there and everything. It's been a bust, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it higher just because I don't think it's fair to Ramsey because of how good he's been playing. I'm gonna give them a D plus. I'm gonna go D plus on the cornerbacks.
I'm going to give them just one step ahead of the offensive line because the offensive line was an F minus. I'm giving them an F. They're terrible. They're old. They're terrible. Let me tell you something. They're legendary and historic in the way where they're making the Steelers defense look like the worst defense to ever play football. That's his legendary, historic team that they're going to be. This is highest paid defense, and they can't make a play. They get torched every week, and it's terrible. I mean, we have never. This is not Steelers defense at all. We're so used to multiple turnovers per game, multiple sacks per game, low on the passing yards, low on the rushing yards. This is not Steelers defense, and this is probably the worst secondary I've seen with this team. They're old and they're getting paid to do nothing. So I'm gonna give them an F.
Yeah, outside of Ramsey, I should say Elliott when he's been healthy has been good too, and it seems like when he goes out, the team does definitely get a lot worse. Joey Porter Jr. just has not progressed the way we would have liked him to. You could argue he's regressed. He's only been able to play 6 games. He did have some health issues. Darius Slay just has been a bad pickup. You can't spin it any other way. Peppers just came in. You can't blame him too much. Like you mentioned earlier, Asante Samuel Jr. is coming in now. There has been some injuries, but I don't think that's what's causing the poor play. So overall, I think your grade's good. My grade's good. But yeah, the secondary has been a problem for sure. It is depressing, the grades we just gave out to this team. Maybe it would have been different if we did this last week before the Charger game, but that Charger game just showed us a lot of what's going on here. But shifting to this week, the Steelers play the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, they had lost to the Bengals earlier this season by a score of 33-31. The Bengals' offense is amazing. Flacco's playing great. Their defense is complete garbage, though. The Steelers are currently a 5.5-point favorite. The total for this game is only 48.5. I think that's a low number.
Yeah.
But maybe that's when Vegas knows what they're talking about. Though, so I don't know if I would bet it on that. But I feel like this is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't see how it couldn't be, really, unless I'm just overhyping the Bengals because of the last time we played and everything. But what are your thoughts on this game? What do you think some key points will be?
It's gonna be a bad defensive game on both sides of the field, and I think that the offenses are going to score touchdowns. I just think that the Bengals offense is going to score more touchdowns. It's going to be high scoring probably for the Bengals, but
the Bengals defense is bad.
Yeah, but have you seen the Steelers defense? Are you watching the same games as me? I hope you are.
They held the Chargers to 25, the Colts to 20. The Packers got 35 on us. Bengals got 33 on us. But let me look at the Bengals games recently and their scoring. They gave up 37 to the Lions, 27 to the Packers, 39 to the Jets, 47 to the Bears. They got beat 28-3 by the Broncos, 48-10 by the Vikings. They give up points.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I get it. I don't think that they're going to sweep the Steelers. I'm going to take the Steelers in this game. I think they get to win by a touchdown even. I'm going to go with a final score of 38-31. Steelers get the victory.
Since that Packers game, actually I should go back since the first Bengals game. I'm so disappointed in getting just I can't see them winning a game the rest of the season right now. They
need this win.
They need it. I just don't think it's happening.
Yeah.
I don't think it's happening. I'm at a point now where I think they may lose the rest of the season in the way they're playing. So I think the
They
Bengals
got,
are going to win.
After this week, they have the 6-3 Bears, the 6-3 Bills, the 4-5 Ravens, who are coming on hot. Right now, they're one game ahead of the Ravens in the standings, but there's no reason to believe that they're going to be able to hold on to that division lead, especially with the schedule that the Ravens have compared to them. So yeah, I mean the Dolphins are 3-7 after that, but they've been playing well lately. They got 2 wins in a row, I believe, and then you have the Lions, the Browns, and the Ravens. So it is ugly right now. You're sitting at 5 wins. You need to win this game this week against the Bengals.
Yeah.
If you want to make the playoffs. It's just a fact. You can't lose this game. If they lose this game, the season's over. It sounds like you think it's already over.
I think it's over. I do.
I have
right
faith.
now,
I have faith.
I've lost faith in this team. The way they've been playing over the past couple weeks, I think that Colts game was a fluke, to be honest. I think they got lucky in that game, and I just don't foresee them. I can't until they show me something in these next couple games. I can't pick them winning. I can't. I want them to win. They need to win this game. I want to see improvement, but they're going to lose this game. They are going to lose this game.
Yeah. I got them winning this game. If they lose, they're at 5-5. They would have to go 5-2 in this remaining stretch to get to 10 wins, to get to 10-7. And that would be that if they can go 5-2 in that stretch I just talked about, that would be very, very shocking. So I'm worried long term, but I think this week they'll win. And maybe I'm crazy. Maybe this is a side I'm choking up about it. But I don't know what just happened. Someone's giving me a sign from
football gods trying to tell you, hey, don't be a fool, buddy. Don't be a fool.
I got the Steelers this week. 38-31. Did you give a score? Sorry if I missed it.
No, I didn't. Steelers are losing. I'll say they'll lose 38-31.
All right, cool. Other things in sports, Paul Skeens wins the Cy Young, the third Pirate to ever do it.
Congratulations, yeah.
In the 1990, obviously deserved. There's been a story coming out that he's interested in going to the Yankees from a unnamed former Pirate teammate. Did you hear any of this bullshit?
I did not. No. Oh no.
So it was from some random guy, and that's like I think he's located out in Jersey. I didn't look into him too much, but he's not like some very popular, very in the know guy. But his source is an unnamed former Pirate, and says that he definitely wants to be a Yankee, and he talks about it all the time. Since then, Paul Skeens has come out and given very strong suggestions that he wants to stay in Pittsburgh. He wants to win here in Pittsburgh. So for all that story, it seems like a nothing burger. And obviously, Ben Cherington came out and said he's not going to go anywhere this year. He's going to be a Pittsburgh Pirate in 2026, just to alleviate those worries for you, Lee. He's not going anywhere this year.
Thank God.
Hopefully, he'll get his second Cy Young. But yeah, unnamed former Pirate. So there's not too many guys that have a big rep that were former Pirates out there.
Yeah,
a lot of people are joking that it has to be Isaiah Kiner-Falefa because his previous ties to the Yankees also. But I don't see one. I think if I had to guess, this guy just doesn't have a source. He's just talking out of his ass.
Yeah.
But either way, he's not going anywhere, and I'm pretty sure he wants to win here in Pittsburgh. He's a competitive guy. I think he likes the challenge of what's going on here. And the Pirates are supposedly going to have a little more money to spend this offseason. They're telling the agents, hey, we're looking to spend a little more and things like that. Don't get overhyped. We're still looking at under $100 million, probably more closer to 85 and 90. But supposedly they have about 30 to 40 million to spend this offseason. So we'll see where that goes. Won't be too much movement until like mid-December. Like not just the Pirates. There's not a lot of even though free agency opens, unlike football and basketball, a lot of times everyone signs like right away on that opening day. Baseball's a little different the way they do everything. And then we have Pitt Notre Dame, college game day in town. You have a prediction for that game? Pitt's a 12.5-point underdog at this moment.
You know, you want to see them win and upset them for sure. Aren't they ranked 22nd right now? Right? Is that where Pitt is?
They're 22. And
they're 22nd.
Yeah, Notre Dame's 9.
Yeah. You definitely want to see the upset here. I think that they can do it. It's going to be tough. It's definitely a tough game for sure. It's Notre Dame coming into town, but you have the home field advantage. You want to hope that the crowd's on your back and able to be there to help you, cheer you on, and get you motivated and things like that. But it's going to be tough. I think that Pitt can do it. It'd be a crazy upset. It might be like a touchdown or 10-point win by Notre Dame. It might be close though.
All I know for sure is that Pitt is going to break my heart. The question is when it's going to happen. The question is when it's going to happen. It could happen this week, but the more tragic story of a Pitt fan would be for them to win this week, and then things fall apart down the stretch as the hype gets high. Because if they win this game, they're probably ranked in the top 15.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way they're going to break my heart, is that they are going to find a way to win this game, but they're going to fall short in one of the games that come after this one. Maybe the real tragedy would be if they do win out the next 3 all-ranked games, and then they go to the ACC championship game against Duke, who's a 5-4 team, but has like a very good odds of making the championship game, and losing to Duke at the end there, which would be terrifying and heartbreaking. But this, like you were saying, it should be a fun matchup. Obviously, Notre Dame's amazing, and the last 2 games against the Panthers, they've destroyed them. 58-7, I think, was the one score, and then like a 45-3 kind of game. 40. They've been bad. They've been outscored 103-10 in their last 2 matchups. But that was 2023 and 2020. Very different teams. Those were not great Pitt teams. So I think that it'll be a lot closer than that. I know Marcus Freeman isn't going to talk shit on another team, but he said he sees this as a challenge. It's not, and they seem to be taking Pitt seriously, and it'll be fun atmosphere at the very least. College game day in town.
It'll be a good one.
It's going to find a way. I think it's going to find a way.
I think they can do it. I do think they can do it.
That's all I got this week. Go ahead.
No,
sorry.
I think they can do it. I think they can upset them and hopefully give you some high hopes and not break your heart. I think they can do it. I think they can get the win and be good. I will say they're doing a lot better than Penn State, because Penn State stinks right now. They're god awful. They remind me of the Steelers right now. So
still looking for a Big Ten win. They're the CBS game of the week. This week, they're the CBS game of the week. Them and Michigan State, both winless in the Big Ten. Both 3-6 are the CBS game of the week. You know that they used to have SEC game of the week, and it would be like amazing top 10 matchups all the time. For some reason, the deal they have with the Big Ten is not like the main like Big Ten game, because I guess the Big Ten still has some deals with ESPN and other places. So 3-6 against 3-6, 3:30.
Barn burner.
CBS after the pick.
It's gonna be a great barn burner right there. I'll say this: at least Paul Skeens was a little more excited to win this one than we are to watch that game. I'll tell you that.
I love that was definitely scripted on his part. I think someone told him, hey, you got to show some enjoyment this time around. So I don't think that was real. I think he's bullshitting everyone with that. But that was 2 on the money.
For sure.
Jared Jones and Henry Davis that were there with him to celebrate the moment. I did not catch anyone else from the team, but I apologize if there were other people there. But let's go Pitt.
Let's go
Steelers. Hopefully we get a couple wins this week. My dad is under the impression that My dad is under the impression that when the Pitt Panthers win, the Steelers win. I don't know how that works because the Steelers are 5-4 and Pitt is 7-2. But his theory is there.
We'll see how
he knows. He knows something I don't know.
Yeah.
So hopefully they both win it out. But that's all I got this week, Lee. I'll see you.
Sounds good. I'll see you. Have a good one.